Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. You know, we talk a lot about travel on Wanderlust Wednesday, but where are some destinations you should go more than once, 2 times or more? Well, if you're wondering about that, we have some suggestions for you. But first, be sure to share, subscribe, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform, including YouTube. And also want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations, for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard.
You're very welcome. Hello, Will. Hello, winners.
Hey, this Wanderlust Wednesday. Let's think about some places you want to go multiple times. One time just isn't enough. I know we can talk about that both from personal experience as well as from a lot of the clients that you're seeing in the agency repeat going to different destinations. So where do you want to start first?
Yeah, we can start about us maybe first, and then we can move on to the experience that I see from returning clients.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I guess I'll kick it off. For those of you who follow the podcast, know that earlier this year, for the first time, I went to New Zealand, and I just did northern New Zealand. So I definitely would go back another time, especially to see the southern part. That is, in some ways, my understanding, even more beautiful.
I go with you.
Yeah. That was amazing. So I think New Zealand, especially when you think about the length of the flight, coming from here in the States, yeah, it's a long flight, but you'd probably, unless you're going to stay a month, you probably, if you're only going to do it like a week, like I did, you definitely want to go more than once.
Absolutely. Well, again, this is a topic that may be different from people to people, because some people I know, once they see something once they love, they want to go back at the same spot all the time because they know it's going to be a successful vacation. It's the same for some people. When they go eat at a certain restaurant, they just go, and then even though the menu is 4 pages long, you end up with the same dish.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. So, but some people, they want to experience something different every time. And so on this episode, we're going to talk about not only the destinations, but the way to go on vacation, maybe cruising or travel or land, but also it can be the same destination like you just mentioned with New Zealand, but it's a different part of New Zealand. Unless you go back and I'm with you, then I want to experience the north as well. But I think you'll be fine with a couple of days back there. Yep. But yeah, so my personal, I'm one of those who fall into the first bucket. So usually when I go to a place I really like, I tend to like to go back because I know I'm going to have a blast. Yeah. And so when I was younger, it was all inclusive. I wanted to go to all inclusive. I was not a big Club Med fan. I was more a fan of all inclusive resort where I can just go sit down at the pool and sip at the bar and with the bartender and getting to know them and just hang and chill, So I end up going to some all inclusives repeatedly, But I try to change the from resort to resort. So it's the same style of vacation, but it's different locations. Okay, so that's a little bit different. Now, we can talk about cruising. Like we mentioned a few times during different podcasts, people tend to tell you, "Oh, I love this brand of cruising of cruise line." Sorry, and they tend to always go. And when you ask, "Okay, what other cruise line did you try?" They didn't. So they're so in love with the experience they have, but they may not realize that there is something more or better somewhere else that they never do. And it's the same with location. You may love to travel to Spain, for example, and I love Spain, but maybe try something else, maybe in the Mediterranean, like Portugal, Italy, Croatia, or things like that may give you the same kind of experience, but another visual and another kind of culture that you may have. So, but it's the same weather. So if you want, summertime or eat, well, you stay in the Mediterranean. But it's what I want to convey here. And then we'll share more about the kind of clients that love to go back to the same destination and why. And that's what I want to talk about later on.
Awesome. No, sounds good. I think when you touched on some different things there, like cruising, I've been to certain ports. I couldn't even tell you how many times, because it's just like one of those common ports, and it's gotten to the point where sometimes if I hit those ports again, I don't even
Of
get off
course.
the ship, and stuff like that. But like I think London, I think Spain, those are places where I've been multiple times and loved it and always find something new. But you mentioned like the all inclusives and things like that. But I am kind of curious, like when you have your clients, your repeat clients, and they're coming back, what seems to be the destinations that are the repeat destinations that you're seeing?
Well, for people, for American, a lot Italy.
Hmm.
So when people go to Italy, they tend to love the culture, love the people, love the pace, and they want to go back to the same location or other. But Italy is definitely a place where I have client going. They wanna get back the year after. Even though they mention most of the time it's gonna be a one-time thing, like I want to experience Italy in one time, so give me the best possible itinerary. I tell people I cannot make you experience Italy all in once unless you stay like more than a month, and
Hmm.
even then, but I will give them the kind of vacation they like. So if they're more there for the architecture or the history or the wine tour or the views and the landscape, I mean everything will be different based on what they love to experience on vacation, but then we can expand. So I have multi-time at client going, and usually when they tell me, okay, what should I be absolutely going to in Italy? And I always say the same thing. I always ask the question, what's important for you? But if they leave it to me, I always said, okay, you need to experience Rome at least a night. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think it's needed to stay more than that unless you want to do museum, you want to experience like the Vatican inside and out, then of course it's going to be longer. But I think in one full day in Rome, it's more than enough to do everything you need to do there for the majority of people. Again,
Hmm.
then definitely Florence, so the Tuscany. But there you can stay a day, you can stay a week, you can stay 2 weeks. It's gorgeous, but it depends. If you don't want to rent a car, if you want to stay in one location and just walk around, then you probably a couple of days you're enough to do Florence area and maybe one or two excursion from there. And then Amalfi Coast. Amalfi Coast is a place where every single person who go, they love that the highlight of their vacation. So as a travel agent, I want to make sure that they're happy. So I know by going there, they will be mind blown by Capri Islands, by the views, by the hotels, by the kind of atmosphere over there. But again, you can do so much more. You can go to Milan if you are looking for fashion. So Milan is the place to be. You have different lake that you can experience. Lake Como, for example, that it's very popular, and you should be able to experience that if you go to Milan. Then you have Venice, but you have so much more. The east side of Italy is gorgeous. So the bottom of the booth,
Hmm.
that's something amazing to experience. And people don't tend to go there as a random tourist. But when you are used to Italy, that those are the places that are gorgeous, and people are not. They're a lot less touristic, let's say.
Hmm.
So a lot of time people go the first time to do those trifecta: Rome, Florence, and Amalfi, and then they said, I want to experience more in Italy, and that's where we go to different places. So they know already the culture, the style, but they can see different side of the country. So Italy, I would say number one. A place that people tend to not go back, usually in my experience, my own experience, and also the experience of my clients, is Greece. They love it. They think it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. But once you see it, you saw it, you saw it.
Hmm.
So you go to, like Santorini, for example, Mykonos and others. But once you do them, you happy you did it. But you don't really need to go back. You had your picture taken, and you're happy to go with that, to go from there. A country who is extremely high on the list of people to go back once they go, and it's unexpected, is Croatia. And I already
Hmm.
mentioned Croatia is a gem. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, people talk about everything around, but not a Croatia the same way. Croatia, when you go to Dubrovnik and other places, Split and things like that, this is gorgeous. And so you can easily go one time. Maybe you do a stop during a cruise,
Hmm.
and then you experience. And that's why I love doing cruise. When you go to place, you don't go every year normally. So
Hmm.
if, for example, if you go to Europe, you may do like a Mediterranean cruise for a week, but if you extend it to 2 weeks, you can probably see Spain, Italy, by piece of France, Croatia, Montenegro, Greece. you can experience different countries and different area, and then they come back and they said, "Oh my God, I want to go back there." And that's something I hear a lot. I want to go back to Dubrovnik, and of course, then we do something for Croatia focus, and so that's more and more coming back. So that's definitely something great and something to thinking, to keep in mind.
Question for you. You mentioned like people go to Greece, they like it, they don't go back. Do you find that something similar with like Alaska? Like is that a one and done or is that a repeat?
Alaska is more one and done as well.
Yeah.
I mean, once you did Alaska, I mean, there are locations that I think are fantastic. Like I keep mentioning Antarctica.
Mm.
It's yeah, I can go back. We can go back there as much as we want. What you see is what you see.
Mm.
Like I mean, you can have better, more wildlife or something like that. But otherwise, you're not gonna have a building gonna build up
Yeah.
like that you didn't see 5 years ago. So it's not gonna you in
The
anything.
penguin's not going to build a new igloo?
Yeah, I wish, but it's not going to be the case. So it's the same with Antarctica. Antarctica, again, I advise to do Antarctica cruise tour. So you do not do only the cruise, and please don't do a cruise in Antarctica from Seattle. You are missing out big time because you're wasting 2 days, 2 to 3 days just going and coming back. And I would totally not advise to experience Alaska through Seattle or San Francisco in that matter. You just leave from Vancouver or Anchorage and you will have the full Alaska experience. And if you do the cruise tour, then you will have an extra 3 to 5 days where you can go in the wilderness of Alaska and actually experience real Alaska inside and how people live, and maybe fishing and maybe hunting or maybe doing dock sliding. I mean, things like that you cannot really do when you do just the cruise. So that's what I would recommend. If you spend the time and the money to go to Alaska, do that. But rarely I have a returning customer from Alaska. They saw it, they're fortunate, they love it, and then they move to something else the next time.
So you mentioned Italy and Croatia as popular. Yeah, I want to go back there. What other cities, either in Europe or other parts of the world?
Japan. I know
Japan?
we
Yeah,
talked about it
yeah.
earlier, but Japan is definitely something as well. Why? More and more people are willing to go to Japan. So Japan is a beautiful, clean country, very safe, and people tend to go one time and just so they see it, and
Mm-hmm.
then they come back and they want more.
Mm.
And Japan is typical because it's a lot to do in Japan. We all know Tokyo, Kyoto. You have like the mountain. You have so many different style. And usually people like to go there to visit a couple of days or 3 4 days. Then they go to South Korea, or
Mm-hmm.
they go to Chiang Mai. They want to experience Hong Kong, or they go to Thailand or something like that. And then they said, "Oh my God, I need more of Japan because I know I missed so many great site or experience or excursion that I didn't do." So again, cruising in Japan is huge. So Japan is it's a country that it's easily possible to do to go around with a ship.
Mm-hmm.
So if you experience that with a ship, you will hit all the different places that you need to see in Japan, and then you will realize which you want to maybe extend one day or come back one day. So I would definitely advise you to do that. I have a few people who just came back from a Japan cruise, and they want to go back to there or there or there because they experienced it and they know they want to actually experience more. So again, cruising is a good way to maybe experience more, but not in depth. And
I would like to see in Japan these toilets they keep raving about. They did a South Park episode on Japan toilets. They got the guy
no,
going in at Home Depot, and he's like, "Hey, is this the best toilet you got?" And the guy's like, "Well, no, we have our Japanese toilet line." And he goes, "Well, I do make good money." So they bring him there, and he's got this guy. He's in a tux and a velvet rope. But I guess it's a whole different experience. I've heard a lot about these Japanese toilets. I've never experienced them.
now I never experienced it myself because usually it was normal toilet, but I'm sure they are very advanced
Yeah, I
technology
mean,
wise.
there's a lot of things. Anyway, I know we're taking us to a whole different direction on that one, but there's a little travel tip for you if you wanted a little different experience of something you do daily.
You should be doing daily.
Yeah, if not, well, goodness gracious. All right.
So yeah, so definitely a place that comes back a lot. Like and I was when I started, I never thought about really like having a lot of people would be interested in Japan especially, but the last couple of years it's insane the amount of requests for Japan. And I mean it's a gorgeous country, so I understand it's super clean
Well,
and
and the
everything.
currency changed, you
Mhm.
know, so it became weaker. So our money went further here in the US dollar so you could get more. In the past, Japan's economy was stronger. It was more expensive for us to
Mhm.
travel there.
Exactly. That's the
Uh,
economist here. He's better.
yeah.
He's analyzing everything for you guys.
Hey, if you can get more for less, why not?
Yeah. So tell us, Will, any place that yourself been that you I know you mentioned New Zealand and you said that you like Europe, but can you tell us why in Europe certain place that you like to go back? I know you need to go back for work also,
Yeah.
but any place that when you go back for work maybe that you are hitting every single time and why?
I love London. I know we did an episode on that. There's so much to see. And I'm only in an area between Windsor and London proper. I haven't even gone to the northern part of the
Oh
UK,
wow.
like Scotland,
Oh
Edinburgh, and
that.
all that.
Mhm.
I got to do that. But just London, there's so much to see. Harrods, the museums, the food. I mean, I'm a big fan of London. Big fan, like you are, of Barcelona. That's another one. Never get tired of. You to see Barcelona, you need just a day or two. But it's like what you were mentioning earlier. It's the vibe. You got the tapas, the small plates. You're right there in the Mediterranean. The architecture's beautiful. I love Barcelona. I would say the place I haven't gone a second time, but I will at some point, was Madrid. So to go from Barcelona to Madrid was 2 hours. Very different feel, as you can attest to. But Madrid just has a very regal feel to it. And seeing the changing of the guard at their palace was a much cooler experience than seeing the changing of the guard in Buckingham. So I would go back to Madrid a second time. Portugal, I love. Lisbon, very economical. I stayed in a formal castle for the price of a Red Roof Inn. It was crazy. I couldn't believe what I got for the money there. And again, right on the Atlantic Ocean, very beautiful. We got the pastries there. Um, would definitely do Lisbon, but I haven't done it a second time, but I would do it a second time. I think in terms of Munich was fine once. I would go back to Prague a second time. I really enjoyed it for what it was. You don't need to spend a lot of time there, but I would go back a second time there. And Amsterdam, I would go a
I
second
was
time. You're
waiting
waiting
for
for that one. I say that one for
that.
last. Amsterdam's just a cool city. Lots to do.
Really?
The colors in Amsterdam are they're vibrant on the buildings. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
something I haven't really seen.
Did you bike?
No, but I almost got ran over by bike. Those bikers are sitting. If you go to Amsterdam, so they have a place like you get off the airport, and it's maybe like a 20-minute ride from the airport to Vondelpark. Vondelpark, the best way I could describe it, it's like Central Park for Amsterdam. So it's a massive park. Well, they got these bikes, and they're designed for the bikes to go and people to stay in a certain spot. Well, I'm a dumb tourist. I don't know what's the right spot. And I think these bikers intentionally try to mess with you, like to make a point, you know. Anyway, beware of the bikes in Amsterdam. Have your head on the swivel. But once you get in the main downtown area, you don't have to worry about the bikes. There's nobody. You can just go around. It's all good.
Yeah. The bikes dominate Amsterdam, so
Yeah.
they are the main method of transportation. So definitely very important.
Yeah. And I know it's home for you, but I love the Belgium trip. I would go back there
I've been there a couple
again.
of times.
Yeah, a few times. The countryside of France. I really enjoyed Champagne. I thought that was beautiful. I would definitely go back. There's a lot in Europe, and because everything's so close,
Mhm.
you could really do multiple places multiple times in a short window of time, which is one of the beauties of Europe.
I agree. I agree. And then the final thing that I want to share usually is safari. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also a typical type of trip or vacation that people usually call when they call. They said, I want to experience one time the safari. I will probably never go again, but I want a good safari. And maybe you didn't listen to the episode with the
Gil.
CEO of
Yeah.
Gil, the CEO of
Great safaris.
Great Safaris,
Mhm.
and he mentioned that also, like, it's impossible to do like one trip and to experience all, and it's not all the same. People think, oh, I'm gonna go, I will see elephant, giraffe and lion and tiger, and then I see everything. Well, no, you have the monkey piece, you have all the different that kind of safaris that you can do,
Mhm.
because people tend to go to those famous one which are always in the preserve, in the reserve, but that's not real safari. I want to go to place where they're actually 100% free, and that's the beauty of safari. You have the eastern safari, you have the western, you have the southern, you have all the different countries that safari countries. You have the gorilla safari that it's also very famous. Like I said, you have the Tanzania. You have like so many different safaris. Zanzibar, the one I did, Zanzibar. So you have all those different type of safari, and that's something when people come back who said I will never do it again, and then they're like, I need to go back within 2 years, because first of all they don't realize how big it is. Africa is a huge continent,
Mhm.
and every single countries or even part of Africa are so very different in the visual. The kind of trees, the kind of landscaping, the kind of wildness is different from one side to the other. And so people who go once and have a fantastic experience, which is all of them with safaris, they're like, I cannot no go back. I
Mhm.
need to go back and experience it more. And I think that's the beauty of places like Africa, who have so much to offer, but people think very small usually. Because I mean, no blemish to them, but it's just because they don't know.
Right.
And so, but they don't realize how beautiful it is and how mind blowing it is. And it's totally different than any other place in the world,
Mhm.
because only there you can experience what you can experience there.
Yeah.
And so I really think that safari is also. I mean, I know safari is a place that a lot of people want to come back, me included.
Mhm.
I definitely will go back in the next couple of years, because I experienced the first time 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, and it was fantastic. But I never forget about those time, and I want to go back and experience
Mhm.
the Eastern time, the Great Migration. That's what I'm interested in. But again, there's so much to do.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. The world is a fascinating place. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
What about South Africa? Because you're mentioning Africa and safari, which is true, but South Africa in itself is kind of unique.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa, you have, of course, the Victoria Falls, who are
Mhm.
like one of the most beautiful places, until Cape Cod. Then, of course, you have Johannesburg and other stuff, but it's different. You can start a safari in South Africa, but it's not the place that you stay like for
Mhm.
10 days for a safari. Usually, you go to Botswana and other places, or you just fly on the east side or north side to go to another kind of preserve or park where you can experience more. But South Africa is definitely a place that it's very typical. A lot of history over there, of course, but it's different. I would say in all honesty, I never had someone going just for South Africa yet. People, of course, going to the Victoria Falls while they do a safari. They start there or they end up there. But people who said I want to go to South Africa only and then going back, I never personally experienced it, and I never been myself, so I cannot speak about it. But again, like everything else, it's all about the taste of people. If
Mhm.
people enjoy the culture, the environment, the people in different part of the world, they usually want to go back,
Mhm.
and that's something that is very true. A city that didn't mention that is very popular and people always want to go back is Dubai.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Dubai grows so much. I mean, when I went back in the days, it was the start. So
Mhm.
they barely finished the mall and everything like that. They didn't have the Ferrari, the Ferrari tour and stuff at the time. And when I see now on videos, it's like so much bigger than what I experienced. So that I want to go back.
Yeah.
But again, for American here, it's not a place that you go like every year, or that you just, because it's kind of far as well. But
Mhm.
it's definitely a place I would suggest to at least see once in your life. But from my experience, people who go once, they want to go back, because people have a preconscious cautious like maybe idea about what Dubai is all about, and it's not. Like, Dubai is very free spirit, very open minded, very clean. they welcome tourists, of course, with open arms. The food is outstanding.
Oh yeah.
The food in Dubai, and yeah, so it's a place that people may have some thoughts about, but it's actually not. So it's very touristic and very Europeanized, I would say, for a Middle East kind of place. But if you go an hour away or 2 hours away, you go to other places in the area, in the EUE. I forgot the way to say it.
Oh, United Arab Emirates. UAE.
Yeah. It may be another feeling. I mean, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's rich, it's very rich. So you have like all those luxurious like marble everywhere. I mean, it smells money, but it's different. I mean, you don't feel the same way when you're there as when you are in Dubai, for example, because Dubai is literally made for internationals or everybody to go, so it's a bit different.
Yeah.
And there is no criminality because you don't try there to do anything. You have directly like a cop in your next to you, so yeah, so it's a bit different, so you feel very safe anywhere.
Yeah. One last city we didn't mention. Viva Las Vegas. We go 3 times a year.
I know, but look at right now, people tend to not go anymore.
I know, they got so pricey, so I think it at the end of the day, people dictate. And if they're not traveling there as often because they're charging for parking at the resorts, they're more pricey on the food, the resort fees, it's just a matter of time for the pendulum to swing back, and it'll go back. And guess what? We will be there to be able to enjoy the food at lower prices, free parking, and no resort fees. So either way, we'll be there.
But Vegas is our favorite place to go back. And 3 times a year. And I cannot wait. We just came back in July, and I cannot wait to be back in December. Yeah. And after that, March. So, I mean, there's always a plan. And, we live once. We live every day. We die once. So enjoy and try to experience as much as you can. And if you like a place that you want to visit again. But please act now and don't wait for retirement or what I hear all the time, because God forbid something happen, then you just waste your life to wait for the good at the end, and you may not have as long as time to do everything you want to do.
Yeah, truer words never been spoken. Spoken or spoken, depending on what you're smoking. But it is true. Experience. It's about memories, and tomorrow's not given, so seize the day. Carpe diem, right?
Yeah,
carpe diem.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think it was a good summary of my experience or your experience and the experience of our clients.
Yeah, and if some of these places we mentioned you've never gone, give it a first try. Don't worry about, hey, I don't know if I want to go multiple times. Try it once and find out for yourself. But that'll do it for this Wanderlust Wednesday episode. Hope you learned a little bit more about some of these places, and book your dream vacation with Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations to make your next dream vacation a reality. That'll do it for today's episode. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platforms. We will see you next Wednesday, winners.
Bye, winners.